And then it was one of those things where the funding rate was extremely low, but then just kept on dropping lower. Like when Luna crashed, like the
Yeah.
funding was super negative. You thought, oh, funding is so negative. I might long now and I'm just going to get money from funding. But then in the next 2 hours, it crashes even more. What was happening was people theorized that Alameda was shorting it on FTX and they were yield farming it on Radium and they were continuously dumping it on FTX to cover their short. So their short was covered. It was a delta
Mm,
neutral trade for them. There was these really fascinating projects like Step Finance where they were giving out like 1 million% APY. Like all of them, even Cope, unlimited Cope. I don't even know what happened to that coin. But Step Finance was giving like 1 million APY, and people were trying to find systems. Like there were people said that SBF and Caroline Ellison and his people,
yeah.
what they were doing is that they were shorting Step Finance on FTX. That's why the funding rate on FTX was like something ridiculous. Like I don't know, negative 20%. I don't know.
No way.
It
Wow.
was something ridiculous. I think one potential opportunity could be RWAs, real world assets.
How do
So,
those work exactly?
for example, say I buy a purse and that
Mm-hmm.
purse is an NFT that verifies that you're the original buyer, but then they send you the purse. So it's a real world asset,
Mm,
right? So your real world asset is on the blockchain. I mean, FTX first did that. They sold hoodies or whatever
right.
merch
I
they were
remember. I
selling,
remember.
but
Yeah.
you had the NFT of that merch and you got the physical merch.
Yeah.
And the NFT of those merches were selling for like a lot of money.
Yeah. It was selling for thousands at one point, I think.
Yeah. So maybe
Interesting.
maybe one thing could be RWAs.
Hmm.
But there's so many things that can happen. Like the thing about like, oh, okay, this I think is gonna blow up. SNS.id for
Okay.
Solana, domain names.
Oh, yes. A lot of domain names. You've been
Yeah.
investing a lot in those.
Yeah, yeah.
You've been investing a lot in those.
I've been investing a lot in those.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit skeptical about those.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit skeptical because I just
Yeah,
feel
it's
like,
possible. It's possible
yeah.
that it doesn't go anywhere. You always have to consider that.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
for
I
sure.
took the bet. I said there's a higher probability that like probability to risk to reward. I said, yeah, like if this blows up, all my IDs are gonna like 10x.
Right, right. It's because I'm the reason why I say that is because a dot sol domain is pretty
Hmm.
interesting if you're really deep in Solana, but like in terms of being used in the actual real world, everybody is accustomed to dot com. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Unless there's a big
Well,
event, a
but
big
you know
switch that
why? You know
happens.
why I think it will be successful? I think
Why?
ENS domain names are already successful. So if
Hmm.
ENS is already successful, then by that logic, if Solana becomes successful, then .sol will also become successful. And the good thing about .sol is that there's no renewal. On ENS, you
Hmm.
have to renew your domain every 2 years, 4 years. You pay a monthly
Oh,
subscription. On
wow.
Solana, you own the NFT forever. It's in your wallet. It's yours. It's permanent.
Oh, damn. That's a big difference.
Yeah, I think that could inflate the price because permanency makes people think,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna have this forever.
And it makes it so much less accessible,
And I
right?
saw this thing that SNS.id was doing on Brave browser. You can now search up your your SNSID.sol. For example, I can do like uh
Separate dot sol.
sure separ.sol and it goes to a website. You can link it to a website.
Hmm,
So now you can
interesting.
have web pages from that. So that's how Web3 starts.
That is how Web3 starts indeed. That is how. What is the benefit though compared to a .com domain in terms of Web3?
It's an NFT that you own. On
Right, but
.com, I don't know what I own. Like, how do I know what I own? If I go
hmm.
on GoDaddy and I buy like share.com, how do I even know it's mine? Like, it's
Yeah,
just
I mean it's not
unclear.
yours. It's not yours. It's the
Yeah.
government's. They can take it from you whenever they
Yeah,
want.
that's the entire
That's
point.
true.
Same thing with money. I want the domain to be mine. And I want to be able to send it to anyone whenever I want. I can send the domain to your wallet, his wallet, no one can stop me. I want to buy the domain without giving out my information, without giving my name and whatever.
That's pretty
Exact same
huge.
thing.
Being able to buy domains without giving your names, that's been something that we've dealt with in the past. That's pretty game changing.
Yeah,
That's a pretty big difference.
that's true. What do you think about Michael Saylor? Think he's gonna get liquidated?
I have no idea what's gonna happen to him. He's a very. I thought by this time he would have gotten liquidated, and he didn't. He survived.
Really? By
Yeah,
by this time?
yeah.
It's
By
it's
now,
only 2024 though.
I predicted back in
Mm,
2020 or something, 2021. I said by 2024 there is a probability like 70% MicroStrategy will collapse and he's gonna get liquidated, and I was wrong, and he survived. So
yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen to him. I have no clue.
Do you know when his bonds expire?
I don't know, but a lot of them expire in 2027. I feel like
2027. Okay.
he just, I think, I haven't read into this, but I think he's borrowed a lot of money to buy a lot of Bitcoin. And in
Yeah.
2028, 2027, he's going to pay back that money. So either he has to sell that Bitcoin or he has to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin. So something bad could happen or it might not happen. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen
Interesting.
to him?
Well, I mean, right now, Bitcoin is above his average buy price,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
That his average buy price is like 30,000. Right now, at the time of this podcast, Bitcoin's at like 40,000. So he's in significant profit right now. Now, I don't know the exact details behind his bonds, but like what he did was just not a good financial decision as a whole. I think he will probably be successful, but it was a very risky move, and genuinely you should stay away from massive moves like that with your entire net worth, just borrowing as much as you can and going all into one asset. As a whole, you should stay away from moves like that. But I mean, he saw it as a once in a lifetime opportunity, right?
Yeah,
And he could be right. He
he
could be
could be
right.
right.
And he's like old too, you know, he doesn't have that much to lose anymore. He's already lived his life. He's had the time of
Yeah,
his life.
yeah,
He's the perfect person for it. If there's
yeah,
someone out there who's gonna do that, he ended up being the perfect person for it.
yeah. What do you think about the rumors that Qatar and Saudi Arabia are going to buy $500 billion of Bitcoin or something retarded? Or
Where
I read 500,000 Bitcoin, like half a million.
that will be the most Bitcoin any wallet owns, right?
Yeah.
The biggest wallet is what? It's either
Grayscale.
Binance or MSTR, right?
I thought it was
It's
Grayscale.
Grayscale. I don't know which one it is, but I know it's like 150,000, right? It's around that. The
Mm.
biggest wallet.
Yeah, but no, obviously they wouldn't put it in one
Yeah, they
wallet.
wouldn't put it in one,
They'll
they would
put in
spread
like
it out.
a
Yeah.
lot
So
of
we don't really
little.
know. Yeah, we don't really know exactly. But where'd you hear that rumor?
It's a rumor that's on the internet.
I mean, if that happens, that would be mind blowing.
I think it would.
You think? You
Yeah.
think it's gonna happen?
GCR said that the next bubble is going to be nation states over leveraging, like El Salvador and stuff. So if GCR says it, it must be true. That's the rule, right?
Oh my god, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Nation states over leveraging. I think it might actually happen. It's very possible.
Sounds scary.
Sounds like a lot of fun, honestly.
I think it's scary.
Why?
I don't know. The idea of nations leveraging Bitcoin, like with the nation's money,
Yeah,
I think it sounds
that's
very
true.
scary.
I mean, United States is one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin right now, right? It's all the way back from the Silk Road crash,
Yeah.
from the Silk Road bust. They still hold, like, I think, what is it, like 100,000 Bitcoin? It's a
Mm,
crazy amount.
yeah.
I don't know the exact amount, but it's a lot. And they haven't sold since then. They've sold a bit. They've been slowly selling, but they still hold a significant portion.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Yeah, it's from what was
I
his name?
heard of that.
Ross
Ross
Ulbricht,
Ulbricht or
right?
something
Ross
like that.
Ulbricht, yeah. Ross Ulbricht, something like that. Yeah, they took all the Silk Road bitcoins and they've been hodling. You know, they've been hodling. Actually, one of the guys that was on the Silk Road case, one of the FBI agents, he bribed one of the Silk Road workers and he took the Bitcoin for himself. He
Oh,
took
no
like
way.
Yeah, he took like millions of dollars of Bitcoin for himself out of Silk Road. He thought they would never notice. Later on, the government found out, threw him in jail for life. to call his
Oh, the
Bitcoin.
other thing that could also be like blow up this bubble or whatever, or this cycle,
Hmm.
is something I heard. I haven't done research on it, but it's called ordinals.
Oh yeah, I've
Mm.
heard so much
Apparently,
about that.
apparently it's stuff that's on Bitcoin,
Yeah, NFTs
like
on
NFTs
Bitcoin.
and stuff. Bro, I had this idea like 3 years ago. Like I thought every
Hmm.
Satoshi would be worth something. They're doing something like that. I don't know what it is. I have to research on it. But the fact, because Bitcoin is the main one, like when you build something on Bitcoin, it has so much value there that you can capture.
Yeah.
Because every Bitcoiner is going to get something.
So you think we're in a bubble right now?
Yes. Uh, yes. I think we're gonna finish. Where the bubble blew up. We're gonna finish it soon. We're gonna bottom around like mid 30s, and then we're gonna stay here, and then we're gonna blow up.
Stay here for how long? You think the halving event is gonna go through just like every other time? Every other time the halving happened, they
This
called
is
for a bull
such
run
an
and it happened.
interesting question, bro. This is such an interesting question because I saw someone on crypto Twitter post that the halving event, but like he mapped the chart of the halving event to central bank liquidity, and he
Yeah,
found that whenever central banks print money, it's at the same time as the halving event. So we don't even know if it's the halving that's causing it or the money printing
the
that's causing
money
it. We
printing.
don't even
Hmm.
know yet, right? But the thing is, every time the halving happens, it affects Bitcoin less and less. So we might never know if it was the halving event. Because the first few halvings, it actually might have shrunk the supply enough. But now, if it's going from like 13.5 Bitcoin to 6.25, it might not affect it
It
even that
might not
much.
even be enough. Yeah.
So we might never know if the halving actually was. But I personally, like deep within myself, I believe the halving actually did something. I think it physically crunched the supply and forced the price to go up.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. And I also believe, my opinion, that it will do it again this cycle. But it's going to take more time. Like the halving is coming soon. It's coming in like 100 days or something.
Yeah.
I think the halving is going to come. But for it to really affect the market, it's going to take like 9 to 10 months or maybe even a year. And then the market's going to go up.
What about the flippening? You think the flippening is ever gonna happen? ETH is gonna flip Bitcoin? Ethereum is gonna become the king? It eventually has to happen, right?
Uh, But do you think a flipping will happen where Ethereum will be above Bitcoin for more than 90 days? I think a flipping will happen, but it might not last more than a few days. Like it might just be like a
I
bubble
think if
thing.
the flippening happens, that means ETH has gotten far enough for it to eventually completely take over. I think if it happens once for a couple days, then soon enough it's gonna happen permanently.
But that might be a
Maybe.
significant dumping point for a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people can't accept ETH being bigger than Bitcoin. Like the second
Yeah.
if it even goes above it, they just and to them, like imagine Michael Saylor. Like
No,
if
I
he
don't
sees
I
that,
don't
like
think so.
You don't think it's gonna flip?
No, I don't think it will.
Interesting. Even
My
though it's deflationary now.
I think it might flip for one day or whatever. I think deflationary was a meme. I think if Vitalik saw the stock to flow model and he thought it worked and he copied it. But what he didn't think about was utility. Over
Okay.
time, people want utility. That's why Solana is winning because they just want cheap transactions.